Salud, mi gente, you boys coming through once again. Before we continue with this video, do not forget to hit the like, subscribe to the channel. For those who've been showing love and support, I do highly appreciate every single one of you guys. So let's do this, man. What's going on around this camp, man? That's what I want to know, man. Cdcr has done it again. I literally dropped a video yesterday talking about an incident in Cdcr, and guess what? There's another one and another one. This time it happened in High Desert State Prison, level 4 KILLA, right? That's crazy, man. You know, it's you know what? Just give it 2 more months. 2 more months is gonna be super cold. You have to put a double blanket in that stuff. I don't know if they still got just the 1-2 radio stations that they used to have, and the 5 channels they used to come on TV, man. But that place is horrible. I can sign that on the dotted line, just to confirm that, right? So on this occasion, right, October 17 of 2025, according to the reports, right, around 4 p.m., that's count time, standing up count. Every inmate hates that count. Why? Because it's the only count that requires you to stand up, wait for the cop to pass in front of your cell, and you better have that light on. Because if not, you better ask Dubs what happens. You will get a 128. You know, you get a write-up. Once you get 2 write-ups like that, you will get a 115. And I mean, it is annoying, of course, because sometimes you're waiting for him. You're trying to watch the novela. You're trying to watch TMC and stuff like that. And you're just waiting for this cop, especially if you live, if you stay on the top bunk. You have to jump down. You can't listen to your earbuds no more, man. You know, and that's how it is, right? But it's part of the protocol. So apparently, as the cop was passing by, doing his count, he came across the cell of the Ruizes. Yes, both of those inmates had the same last name. So it's Eddie Ruiz and Roman Ruiz. As the cop approached that cell, he noticed that the door window was covered. So usually what you do, you get maybe your magazine or some hardcover, right? Cut it around the same size and just stick it to the window. Boom, boom. Put like 2 or 3, whatever. They can't see inside your cell. So the cop is like, boom, 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 boom. Hey, man, what's going on, man? Take the thing down, man. It's count time. You don't even supposed to have those right there. I'm telling you. So as the inmate, Eddie Ruiz, was taking that thing down, you know, the officer noticed that Roman Ruiz was bloody, you know, laying down in the cell. So at that point, the cop was like, what's going on right here? Press the alarm. All that sounds came out. Everybody went to their door, right? Except the neighbors. The neighbors already know what's going on. The neighbors hear everything. You can hear everything on your on the cell next door. Especially if you're on the vent, you can hear everything. But this time, all the cops from different buildings came through with medical assistance, right? The inmate on Ruiz, which is Eddie Ruiz, got handcuffed. They put him in the shower in handcuffs just to make sure he don't clean up or nothing, you know, just to make sure that if he has any type of DNA with him, it's gonna stay with him. It is now a crime scene, right? So they took out Roman Ruiz, who at that time was 33, and man, it is a sad situation, but it's part of life. Just keeping it real. That's what happens in prison every so often. The thing is that sometimes people don't make it, and now we have to report on that. So they took him out. He went to an outside hospital. Eventually, well, they do have a CTC right there. Eventually, by 40 minutes later, or 20 minutes later, 29 minutes later, he was pronounced unalive. That's basically when they stop compressing his chest. You know, once they do it, like, man, this guy is not moving. This guy is not doing nothing. Just let him go. You know, he was pronounced unalive. And as for his cellie, Eddie Ruiz was sent to the whole pending investigation, right? Look, I always say this, man. When it comes to cellies, it's the worst feeling. First of all, man, it's inside the cell. It's somebody to have share a meal with. Maybe share, I don't know. Whatever the case might be. With cellies, man, it is super weird for this to happen because, you know, you call their family for a favor. You know their family for whatever reason, right? And then for this to happen, man, that's crazy. For cellies to unalive one another, it is crazy. And sometimes cellies become so tired that be like, you know what? It's us two against everybody else. If they want us to do this, man, screw everybody. We're done. You know, I'm just saying. But that's how it goes, because some people, they do get the connection, man, as a brotherhood, man. I said, hey, man, you know what? You're hella fit, man. You're tight. I mean, you're never acting funny when you have food, even though I don't have that much food. You always sharing and stuff like that. Sometimes you buy me tank tops, shirts, or whatever, you know, and you get that bond. But then when that Sally turns around and becomes a snake and does this to his Sally, that's honestly, you might say whatever you want to say, but I don't have respect for that, because if that individual can't be appreciative enough to respect your life, especially since you have gave him so much, man, that person is worth nothing. Simple as that, man. That's how it is. But it seems like these individuals might be northerners, because Eddie Reese came from Santa Clara, from the county of Santa Clara. And as for the victim, Roman Reese, he came from San Joaquin County, man. Both of those individuals came in 2018, 2015. So they had what, like 10 years to 7 years in the system. And that's just the reality of prison, especially at high desert, where it's nothing but level 4s, except AR might be a level 3, man. But it sucks. It's part of reality. It's part of the lifestyle that a lot of people choose to live, and at the end of the day, they're willing to die for. And on this occasion, sadly, somebody passed away. Nuestras condolencias to that family, because they are going through it, and we always have to bring up the family, man, because as me, right, I'm just telling the story. You're receiving it as two inmates getting into some altercations inside the cell, but you never think about the big picture, the families, the people that actually get affected by seeing this incident, sad incident, man. So hopefully you like this video. One thing I can tell you about incidents like this is that once you witness this as an inmate, you become callous to situations like that, man. And I want to share something with you. You know, I seen a lot, not a lot, but I see multiple unalives. I seen them with my own eyes, right? And it comes to a point when you become callous, and it's crazy how I'm gonna put this out there, but it's the truth. And I believe I was gonna make a video on it. Maybe I'm gonna make it later on. But you become so callous to the point that when something like this happens, you get upset. You get upset because that person did whatever he did, and the other person didn't make it. And why do you get upset? Because they messed up with the program. Almost like you don't have no regards towards the life of another human being. And that's what prison does to you, man. I was thinking about doing a video like that yesterday. I didn't have time to do it, but I feel like actually going into the mind of a person who did a lot of time, who came across a lot of shenanigans in prison, seen a lot of crazy stuff, and then how prison made him callous to violence, to that victimization of inmates. You're gonna trip out on that stuff, right? I'm not saying right here that we were out there making moves on people's with the legends right next to us and stuff like that, but there's things that they were done, and that's it, man. We don't have to put this out there like that, because it's not a glorification of nothing, because whatever was done, it was done. You know, we don't have to put it out here. And that's why when I tell stories like that, I always talk about it in a third person. I never put myself in no situation at all. You know, that's not bueno. It seems like sometimes you're glorifying the time that you spend behind those walls, And at the end of the day, man, nothing good came out of it. You know, the only good that I can tell you, it was the teachings of life, of actually valuing my freedom and be respectful to the next person. You know, respect is very important in prison, and you get out with that. You get out with that. You get out with the just with the how you say, with the habit of saying thank you, of appreciating when somebody does something out of their way. You know, because a lot of people in the streets take it for granted, but once you're in there and you know that nobody's have to do nothing, but when they do, when they go out of their way to do it, you have to appreciate it, man. And those are the things that I can tell you that I got from prison, man, and that I actually carry with me. So with this being said, we are out to next video. Saludos a todos. Have a wonderful weekend. Let's go Cowboys. Yes, sir.